to start now. Welcome to the Lents Neighborhood Livability Association, our November meeting. And due to the COVID defense or COVID excuse, we have no guest speakers tonight because they're afraid of doing live meetings. And we will never, ever have a meeting on Zoom. I don't want, and well, Char is technical support. She doesn't want to be in charge of running a Zoom meeting. But, so as far as announcements go, we have weekly West Rock cleanups, which anyone is welcome to join us. And they're every Saturday in the wintertime. We've have moved them to 8 a.m. so that we're not going to clean up trash in the dark. This Sunday, October 17th, is the Bfw Breakfast. And just to keep it confusing, it's at the American Legion Hall because they share the facility for the Bfw Breakfast. And quite often, a number of our members meet there for breakfast. And then Wednesday, November 10th, we have a coffee with the cop at the Mocha Express on 82nd over by the junior college. And that's a good opportunity to meet local officers from East Precinct, and sometimes when we're lucky, the East Precinct commander is able to join us.
She will be there. Commander Captain.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll be there in November.
November, yeah, the commander will be there, the captain will be there, and then we're going to have a staff sergeant, day staff sergeant, and then I think it's just an officer, I can't remember.
And what, can you tell me that date again?
It's on the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sergeant, did you guys have any recommendations for how we should address the police and questions we should ask, or?
You can probably ask anything you want. Now, whether they
Yeah.
can answer,
You can ask anything you want. They'll answer, and then they filmed and quoted, so they'll answer as best as they can.
Well, we found them to be much more forthcoming at Coffee with Cops because we don't record those.
Oh.
When they're on camera here, they have to be PC, and even when they are PC, they may still get in trouble. I think Commander Fairley got in trouble for telling people that, if you don't like the justice system in Portland, you need to elect different officials.
Yeah,
She got
Which was accurate.
yeah.
A little bit about our organization, for those of you who don't know, we are a 501c3, and we were founded 4 years ago when we gave up on the city-recognized neighborhood association. And we differ from them in a lot of ways. We don't answer to the city, we don't take money from the city, and consequently we're able to do things that the official NAs can't do. We take positions on things like neighborhood safety. We don't have to toe the city's what would I say? Their point of view that everything is wonderful and life is just getting better when as we all know, that we're suffering a lot of livability issues in our neighborhoods. And I'm kind of reminded of this, we have never held an election for this group because frankly, we could only find 3 people who are willing to serve as officers. I'm the president, I'm the figurehead.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
Thank you.
Penny Wilson is one of the same old faces, as she says. She is there for every West Rock cleanup, every one of our meetings. And she is the vice chair. And when I've screwed up too badly with filming things, I go stay with the camera, and she takes over officiating the meetings. And I appreciate that you do that. And then the wheels of the organization, the organizer is Char Penny, my wife, and she's the secretary-treasurer. And if it wasn't for me doing the paperwork to actually write the bylaws and present them to get approved, and her doing all of like the government filings and everything, Facebook upkeep, the webpage upkeep. She built the webpage, but she keeps us going. She keeps me going.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, I would like to thank all three of you.
thank all of you for showing up tonight. And we haven't done this in a long time. It would be really nice, I think, that if everyone would introduce themselves, because not everyone knows everyone here. So, want to start, Mary?
So I'm Mary Oxford. I live down by Lens Park on 89th.
I'm Sammy, I live on Lent Park by 93rd and Avenue.
You live by Marshall,
Yeah.
the high
Marshall
school. Yeah, she lived by
okay.
Marshall High School.
Yeah, 93rd and
Yeah.
Marshall High School.
Yeah, Grant, Franklin, I don't know what it is this year.
No,
Is it Benson this year? Okay,
Yeah,
okay, I keep you track of them.
They're gonna be 3 years.
Yeah, the school that's not fit for human, yeah. I'm Shar Penny, of course.
And I'm Penny Wilson, and I live in the Bermuda Triangle just next to the freeway on 96th and the park, the
What
Springwater.
do you do the Lent Park? We do the Lent Park.
Todd,
Todd, Littlefield, I live across from Lens Park parking lot on 94th and Part E, across from the multi-use center.
I need pictures of your camp for this screen.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate that the city has gotten to where it is.
Did you see Keith Wilson's latest video? He
No.
showed that camp of the guys who moved his son down there with a house.
Yeah,
It's in his,
is it any good?
yeah, it's a long presentation, but yeah,
Like you said, it's a great concept, the problem is they're hoarders,
I know,
and it's never gonna work.
I know.
One you just worked with, I live off of 92nd at Harney Court, in between Tenino and Harney.
Are you the one who put up the big huge things to block that driveway?
But I'm telling you, I've been working a lot to get that street cleaned up. And I wanted to encourage people, if you can go to the Coffee with Cops, I really think
It makes a lot of difference.
that we had a lot of response based on people just being honest.
Yeah, I'm serious, it
And-
makes a lot of difference.
I really appreciate everything that this group does. I've been associated with a lot of neighborhood associations, but there is something to say about not having an answer to the city and being very honest and open with what's really happening in your neighborhood. So I appreciate you guys.
Hi, I'm Sharon Solnicky, and my hubby Andy, and we live actually just down the road from Leach Botanicals.
Oh,
That place, okay? And I'm here after having some conversations with Shar because I've been so distressed over what I've seen on Foster. I'm here like 26 years. and
Horrible.
It's just not the same place, so.
Oh, God, it's horrible.
Yeah, I like your grassroots approach and that, A, I wasn't aware that you don't have to work in the context of the city regs. You know, it's a mixed bag, I'm sure, but I like your activism, so I'm intrigued. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Sharon's husband, and she runs the show. But I just want to say that she was very much involved in building the sidewalk on the Brookside restoration,
Uh-huh,
and now we cannot walk on it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of, it's a treasure that's just
Yeah.
can't be enjoyed. That hurts.
well, to be honest, Gary Sargent with Sergeant Motors reached out to me. He wanted to get a meeting with Minkus Maps. That wasn't gonna happen. So then his staff answered me and says, well, you know, we can do a Zoom meeting. And I said, no, Gary wants you to come out here in person and see what we're dealing with. Oh, we can't because we're all locked down because of COVID. Okay.
So they're not leaving their house first.
Yes, yeah, right, that's what they're telling us.
So we have to leave our house.
Yeah,
to watch it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they'll leave their
And
house.
they're our
Yeah.
representation.
They'll leave their house to go take photos of those boats.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's okay.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, I see your husband's over there.
That's my husband Pete, and I'm Marilyn, and we just live over on
Playbell Court, just over here on the end, off of 105th. And it just makes me sick. I've lived in Lents my whole life. Lents school, my mom and dad went to Lents school. Yeah, and it, before the freeway came, we were our own city. We had everything, we didn't have to go outside. And when my mom and dad were growing up, there was the train that went out.
Oh, the one they put out, yeah.
Yeah.
And, so, yeah, it's so sad. It just breaks my heart. It's gone downhill, it's just,
Yeah.
don't feel safe at all.
That's what I hear from a lot of people, they don't feel safe. No, Gary Sargent was just disgusted with what has happened to Foster floodplain. He said they poured billions of dollars into that.
They did.
Yeah.
And the city's just letting it go to,
Yep.
Yeah.
And those families had to move.
yeah, oh yeah, they had houses all along Foster. When I first moved to
Oh, yeah.
Portland, I remember all the houses that were flooded every year.
They all had to move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I worked on that project with the.
School kids came, lots of people worked. on it.
Yeah.
There was fish back in the creek.
Well, they did it for environmental reasons, and now they're allowing. this
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
You know, it's interesting, you talked about environmental reasons, so I was scratching my head, how else can you approach the concern here? I raised it as a salmon concern.
Right.
Because that was the driving factor,
was,
to
yeah.
get all that money, to get
Yeah,
restoration
exactly.
going.
Yes, it was.
I'm just not getting much of a response right now, you know,
They
they're
don't want
kicking it
us to
around.
do it.
Well, I thought the city came up with a plan, they were not gonna allow the homeless in open spaces or in forested areas.
Right.
And what happened to that?
Yeah, they're not enforcing it.
Can
I'm
I,
too scared to go there.
Yeah,
can
yeah.
we pause this a second
Yeah, let's
and finish
finish,
our
yeah.
introduction?
Oh,
Richard,
You don't want to hear my introduction.
we love you, Richard, come on.
I live on the corner of the bike path to 205 in the Spring Water Corridor.
Oh, yeah.
And I live in a garbage dump.
Yes.
I live in a garbage dump, I live in a fire
Howard.
hazard.
Oh.
The fire trucks come every day just about putting out fires because the homeless bring their buggies to this particular dump site and they put them on fire. And underneath the max line, they set fires underneath there, underneath the highway, they put them underneath there. And back in the 40s, I used to catch fish in Johnson Creek.
Oh,
And now, and I've talked to them about it, I said, you cleaned it up once. They had the whole back on the other side of 205 east, all cleaned up. But now, it's worse than ever. They got this dammed up and they're taking baths in there, they're washing their clothes in the water, and buggies are in there, and underneath the Bfw Bridge, they sleep underneath there and they throw their trash in the creek. And I've not only got the trash and the fires, but I got the rats.
Yeah, the rats are definitely.
I mean, that's minor what I got in my backyard.
Oh, I know, that was years ago. Look at the.
That's minor what I got in my backyard.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, this is 4 years old.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got that plus
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
mattresses and
Yeah.
garbage and garbage.
Needles?
Oh, that's minor. That's minor compared to all this other,
Yeah.
besides the buggy that they keep bringing in.
That's why the stores don't have any shopping carts right now.
It's
Yeah, those
it's just
are-
sickening because
Yeah.
I've lived in this area for over 7 years. 7 years.
My name's Diane Schubert, and I live on Hendersonville Street on the cul-de-sac, just straight down. We've lived there for 28 years, and it's just, we moved in the district because my husband was teaching at David Douglas High School, and we believe in living in the neighborhood that we're teaching or being a part of, to be part of the neighborhood, and it's just been very, very sad and scary. Just breaks my heart to think that nobody's helping you, and what you live with, and I worry about the people just keep getting closer and closer, and I heard
The
that.
fire department discussed it.
Oh, yeah.
They're so disgusted because they gotta come down the bike path to put out fires all the time.
And now they're gonna be wearing bulletproof vests.
Yes.
But I heard they couldn't remove the one family because they had three children under three.
Yes.
Two children, okay. And, but I also think, what about our children in our neighborhood, and what about our homes?
We agree.
And then don't those small children deserve something better,
Yeah.
a better housing situation than
And
that?
Portland Family and Homeless Solution is right on 92nd.
It's right down, yeah.
Yeah, why aren't they looking into just putting them in there? And those rooms are great, they all have their own private rooms and,
Probably because they've got
There-
drug
there are
problems or
rules
something
though.
that.
well,
Yeah,
they
there are
do.
rules.
There are rules, and they don't follow any rules.
Yep.
Yeah,
You don't want to follow rules,
I
but
know I
then
have to
by
follow the rules.
make our lives
I can't even like
miserable.
build
Yeah,
a big fence on my
exactly.
property.
Anyway,
anyway.
So I'm Darcy Nemar, Diana and I are next door neighbors. And my husband and I moved in 93, had our house built. And we are one of the latest Lents casualties.
Uh-oh.
We have said enough is enough. We have bought a house in Gresham. We are moving and now we're struggling to get our house shown because
Don't tell me that, he's our realtor. Really, Alex says it's official, the sign's out on the house.
yeah. So, you
Yeah,
know, and it's a struggle because,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nowhere people can come in to look
I
at the house.
know. I was
where
thinking,
they're not
come
passing
from
this.
Happy Valley, drive them all the way out.
The big setback, you know, come over and don't go this way.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
I know.
tough, it's tough.
I know.
Because, you know, our realtor was saying, oh, yeah, you know, the market's cooled off a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's still hot in
Yeah.
Portland, and it's like,
Yeah,
we're just not getting the bites.
I know.
The last 3 weeks, the market died. We had, in the last 18 months, no supply.
Oh,
Now we've got massive supply.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the supply is great and the demand is shrinking.
Oh, okay.
So we've got a,
oh, really?
well, the other thing that's hard is I heard that people are saying, well, our property taxes, you know, our property values are going up.
Oh,
Yeah, we
yeah.
pay a lot of taxes
Right,
to the state, but we can't get the money out if we want to move. So I
Right.
think that's a really sad statement. It's kind of like, are you kidding me?
yeah,
Does that make me feel good that our property value is going up? No, it just feels like you want to get more money from it.
yeah, yeah.
My name's Corinne Jimenez, and I live across the street from these guys.
And they drug you in here.
We moved in about 3 years ago, and we thought we were kind of moving up in the world, but now we're not so sure.
No, it's sad. I bought my house in 86 and it was a great neighborhood when I bought it, but
Yeah,
it's like, oh.
It was.
It's fabulous.
I think
Yeah.
it was still pretty good when we moved, just like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good, But,
Yeah, it's
now,
deteriorating.
Well, when COVID hit, the city stopped doing anything.
yeah.
When what did, I'm sorry.
When COVID hit,
Oh, COVID.
the city stopped doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, they did, they told us that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I think that everybody took advantage of that.
Oh, of course they did.
Down here on 112th, those folks parked, you know, in between the boulders. They got a good quart of firewood in there. They're hunkered down. They're ready for
Yeah.
winter and everything.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
like it's their own property.
Yes,
They know
I
that
mean,
they
they
have.
did.
yeah, they are, yes,
Right.
yeah.
Isn't there something you can do to make it uncomfortable for them?
You can't touch them.
Like
They're
a fire
protected.
hose aimed from your property out to them?
They got more rights than we got.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, they are a protected class.
They are, they
So
were,
you have to be very circumspect in what you do or
There's
say.
gotta be something you can do to make it uncomfortable.
well, you know, it's really funny, Mary, Loretta called me, Loretta Smith, who used to be in Multnomah County's commissioner. She called the other night, and we were talking about that whole situation. She said back in 2017, they considered the homeless an emergency. She said, under an emergency, they could have done anything. There were no rules. They could have done anything to address the problem, and they didn't do anything. And they're still not doing
The thing is, they
anything.
won't, you can build all the apartments you
Oh, I
want,
know.
but they won't follow rules.
No.
And it's my understanding, if you go in to move them along and tell them you have a place for them to go,
Uh-huh.
then you can move them along. If they don't want to go to that place, Then
They
they
don't
gotta
have-
move along.
They don't have to see, and that's where they went wrong. They should say, we have a place, you go there or you go to jail or
Correct.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
They shouldn't give them this choice of, oh, well, you don't have to do it anymore.
Well, if they're moving along means going to a different neighborhood.
Right.
You're not solving.
No, that's
Oh,
exactly what I'm
no,
doing.
but the pile of trash and filth that they have built
Yeah.
up wouldn't get so big if you could come in and tell them in 5 days, move along.
Yeah.
And then people like Shar and Juanita and Jenny and I can go clean up after them. And there are agencies that get the big stuff, but they
Some
don't
of
pick
these
up their own
mountains of trash
stuff.
are
That's insane.
unbelievable.
You should have seen the trailers
Yes.
that's down underneath 92nd
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Crystal
yeah, I
Street.
saw that, yes.
They've been there for months now, and their trailer got rear-ended, so I think what they've been doing is taking everything out of that trailer and sorting it, and I keep picking it up, and they just keep sorting through and then making another
Pile for you to pick up.
If I ever caught them, I'd give them hell, but I can't ever catch them doing it. They do it at night.
Yeah, they're on a different schedule.
Can you set rat traps around into there so when they reach in, they get them?
The other thing is they're ditching, abandoning cars.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
That's the other thing that people can start.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why do you need so many accumulate stuff? Why do you need so many stuff and you count it?
Because they have a mental issue.
Because people put things out for free.
That would be a real
And they
nice, if
glom
the
onto
city
it.
would outlaw that,
Yes.
They
it would
should
make
outlaw
a
it.
difference
Some
in the
cities have.
size of the piles in these campsites.
Yeah.
I tell
My
people
neighbors
never
call
put
me
it
the
out.
flaming bitch from hell. I get and I'll go knock on the door and say, excuse me, do you know where this is gonna end up? This mattress is gonna end up on the spring water,
And they want it to.
and
Because they can't have it.
your tax dollars are going to pay for me to contact the city to send Central City Concern out in about 6 weeks to pick this up and take it to the dump. It's cheaper for you to take it to the dump yourself than to spend the tax money. Well, but somebody might need it.
Yeah.
They need alternative housing.
Yeah.
This isn't doing it. They don't understand.
Yeah.
So the property down there on 92nd and Knapp and.
Yes.
So that's state-owned.
That's ODOT, yes.
Yes.
Oh, that is
So-
ODOT. That's ODOT.
Yeah, so state
ODOT
has
is-
more clout
ODOT
than the
is-
city?
Yeah, no, ODOT has turned all their property over to the city.
The-
Intergovernmental agreement.
Yeah,
They
the
won't
maintenance.
touch it. It's under the city's umbrella now, and the city, of course, we know where they're at, so.
And in case you don't know, RID is back up to full force in putting a 5th truck on.
Okay.
What is real?
And they
That's on our
are
card. If you get a business card,
now working on a 10 to 14 business day turnaround instead of 6 weeks.
so RIT is our garbage, they're like Sunset Garbage. or
They
whoever.
pick up
Well, they pick up our
unwanted
garbage too, free?
garbage
We
that's
wish.
Oh,
We
yeah.
wish.
the mattresses I'm whining about and
Yeah.
the furniture on the side of the road. If you call 4,000 and report it, they'll report, and then I call 4,000 and I also report it directly to RID. They will put it on the list and they will come out and pick it up.
Do they pick up the boats?
They-
Oh,
Get quite a marina going.
We do have a marina going.
So
David said
yes.
they're waiting for the flood.
So
Bring on
actually,
now.
the boats are gone.
Oh, yeah, they are.
They
All
picked them
right.
up today.
Thank you, guys.
Well, they're probably down on Woodstock. I haven't gotten in there to take pictures recently, but
Yeah, maybe,
the flotilla, I believe, is growing on Woodstock into another person.
maybe there was enough rain for them to float
They
down.
floated down the hill and I got them. They're in my neighborhood.
Rapid Response was down there, and I stopped and talked with him.
Oh, good.
And he said that they were gonna, he says, I can't believe that Peabody hasn't been here.
Yeah.
They had been there. I said, but that was, they've
Yeah.
been back for a long time.
They
Yeah.
just
And
drive by
so
it.
the next day I came, and it was Rapid and Peabody.
Okay.
And so they only had facility to tow one at a time.
But are they
So that's
tagging
why
them?
one stayed longer than the other.
They don't even tag the boats sometimes.
Yeah.
They
Well,
just,
I mean the cars, are they tagging the cars down
They
there?
were, but there was a bunch of them down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But PBOT hasn't been back to do
Okay.
their enforcement like, they need to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept telling PBOT, go up a little bit further.
So
What did you say to do? Call, who do you want to call them about the parking
Well, if
violation?
you report the abandoned / whatever vehicles, they don't drive around looking for cars to tag, they only respond to reported, and there's an abandoned auto, is that line on there?
Well, I think,
And if
I
you
think
have a
our-
VIN, if you have a VIN
Yeah,
number
it-
and a
once
license
it's
plate.
reported, then they dispatch them, they don't have time to drive around and look.
Okay,
And-
so the ones on NAP where they're illegally parked, we can call about those?
well, they don't care about illegally parked.
Well, can you just drag it out in the middle of the street? That helps.
Hey, Mary,
Yeah,
can
it
you
does.
help them push
It
the
does.
cars for
I
us?
think Mary.
Drag it out in the middle of the
Mary, you
street,
need
that
to talk
helps.
to me afterwards.
I have heard of that happening.
If you need help, call me.
And down at Mount Scott Park, where I go for swimming.
That's
Yes,
nice.
yes.
The
That's
parking
cool.
lot, one whole section is
Oh.
nothing but, takes up all those parking spaces
Yeah.
of tents and.
Well, now
trucks.
that's private property, doesn't belong to Mount Scott Park.
I
That's
think
the
they
city.
opened
The
it
city
up.
of Portland.
The
They
city
love
Our
parks.
city.
Oh.
I think,
So, I heard the homeless were at Mount Scott.
They were for a while, yeah, last
I've
year.
not seen them in the
In the
park.
winter.
Last
But
year.
it's just in the parking lot.
So we can go swimming there?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Yes, last
So
year
it's
they
been
were a
open
homeless
for long
shelter.
time.
Right, and that's.
yes.
But if you can find a parking spot. In the parking lot, but you can go around and find it on the
I don't know
side
who
streets,
owns
but,
In the safe places.
yeah.
I would think they're private, but I don't
Well,
know.
I would think, but the last time I thought that, I was pointed out that I was incorrect, and it was actually belonged to the city, and that's why nothing was getting done.
Well,
If it's private, they
They can
generally can get it taken care of.
I know.
Yeah.
So
If
the,
it's
the
public,
office,
they
That's
can't.
run by
the
the city.
people in the office at Mount Scott Pool
Yeah.
have a phone number. And the more people they call and say, I'm a paying member here,
Yeah,
and there are not enough
Parking spots.
spot because there are too many homeless taking up spots.
right.
And so they're hoping that more people call.
So do they have a number they're handing out at Mount Scott?
Yes, yes, they do.
So you just go to the front desk and they'll hand you one?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes,
That's
yes,
good
yes.
to
All
know.
right.
I
Yes.
wonder who they're
I'll
calling.
put that on our page.
Yeah.
If you go to Mount Scott
They're
Community
just hoping
Center.
that more people
Yeah,
calling in and
Okay.
reporting it and telling them that,
okay.
Do you have the number?
I don't off the top of my head. But I think it's
It's the main number, this,
the 823-4000.
oh, it's the
Oh, yeah.
823-4000? Oh,
That's
okay.
the all-
That's the
He
catch
works for
all.
the city, so
Catch all, okay.
that's what you call and then
Okay.
they direct you.
Well, Juanita made it, I don't know if it was you that made it, or your daughter made it, or your son made the little flyer that is on our page, it's tagged to the top.
Yeah.
That has a lot of numbers on it, if you go on our Facebook page. And it's an open page, I don't even think you have to have Facebook to see our page. It's an open public group.
what's the page called, Lnla?
Yeah, Lents Neighborhood Livability Association.
That's what it's called? just
Yeah, yeah, but I think Juanita's, who was it that made it?
This one.
Yes, that one.
I went around and put this in all of my neighbors on Tenino,
Nice.
Claxon, Harney Court.
Well, if you have extra, you might-
92nd.
do you have enough to hand out, or?
I have a few, I think I need that.
I don't need any,
You
we
want
have it
me
on
to
our
report,
page.
you can call 4,000.
You want one?
I
4,000
think there
will
was
get
a
you to the right
clip from
department.
the printing of the.
You have an extra one?
Put on my name.
What's the first three digits?
823. Yeah, all the city of Portland numbers are 823. But 4,000 is the clearinghouse. And if you tell the poor little dweeb that answers the phone what your problem is, they will get you to the right department.
You're welcome.
They're
Thank
very
you.
good at it.
Oh, nice.
It's impressive. 'Cause every once in a while,
I
I
put a
can't find
letter
the
behind
phone.
that, and I
They're
told my
working
neighbors,
your
like,
order. That's their motto.
they need to start reporting. If they don't report, nothing's gonna happen in the
That's right.
area, we're gonna lose our services. And basically, that's what's happening. Everybody in the city now says, oh, we want that response team in our neighborhood. So we're gonna lose that, and we're on the outer edges of the city. So they don't come out here that often, they don't want to come out here that often. And if we don't call, we're gonna lose our services.
I noticed that the street response team like lowers the amount of 911 calls and the drain on police and fire sometimes, but What are they actually doing? Because I don't see any.
That's a
They
good
talk to
question.
them and give them a bottle of water and a cookie.
And they're
ask
not
them if they're
available on
okay.
weekends.
Now,
or
Mary.
evenings.
Do they need help? And they
spend a
say,
lot of
no, I do not.
I
They
mean,
spend
$1
a lot
million
of time
is
talking
just
to
what they
them.
got, so.
For, well, they got an extra
Yeah.
million.
And give them a
Yeah.
bottle of water and a cookie.
Do you need help? No, I do not.
Thank
Okay,
you
well,
very
thank
much,
you.
and I'll sign my paycheck.
Now, there
right
was
here,
a
but I
long,
didn't talk to you.
there was a long article on it. It was city council hearing, which I put on our page because I was quite entertained. I watched the whole friggin' 2 hours.
I did too.
Did you, and supposedly now, and this isn't what they originally were doing, supposedly they are getting these people in services. That's the new, and they weren't.
That's the new thing.
That's the new thing. They're supposedly hooking them up with
Good
services.
idea.
I think they got 4 people into housing.
I'm floating.
But they don't track it, so we don't know how long they
Smoke
stayed in
is getting
housing.
to me. I'm floating.
There's
So
no
I should've
accountability
worn
for
my
what they're
drinks.
doing.
there's no accountability.
I
I
had
mean,
to
they
smoke
have
one of my
stats.
certain
They actually
hours.
have stats now, which they didn't have originally.
Okay.
So it was a pilot program. So their promise
You
was
have
to.
to track what you do in a pilot
Exactly,
program
and
to see
that's why
They,
that's
they
why
are
they're-
tracking it because one of their first hires was a statistician.
Yes.
But do you think we're ever gonna get those stats?
Well, no, that's what they have in
No,
city
well,
council.
what we've gotten, we kind of beat them up over it
We
because
did.
they're highly paid professionals who all make over 100,000 a year.
The street response team.
We're street response team.
The girls, they only made 94.
Oh, 94.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple
Don't
of them are over
exaggerate.
100. But they're making two to three calls a week. And if you do the math, it works out to, we're paying $12,000 per call, per person they contact.
Wow.
Bottled water is expensive, David.
That's very expensive.
And I'm sure
water.
they're individually packaged cookies, and you know those are expensive.
They are. I go to
We could
Costco to
make
buy
them.
mine. Yeah. But no, supposedly if you listen to that lovely 2-hour,
This is like,
yes, that's the site, that's it.
That's
If you
it.
listen to the 2 hours of the council meeting, they had a statistician come in from PSU, I
Oh, yeah.
believe, and he's the one that gave the stats and said they are doing a wonderful job and we need to expand it citywide. But yeah,
Lose that
Well,
salary.
they pay him.
I know they pay him. I know they paid him off.
Just so, for what it's worth. And downtown, they really think that this is gonna solve
I
the
know
homeless
they do. I
problem.
know they do.
they think that this is gonna solve the problem.
Downtown.
For
Downtown.
downtown, maybe, because
Yeah.
they'll shoot
Have
around.
Yes, they're the ones that are pushing to expand the program into Old Town.
Yeah,
But it was supposed to start down there to begin with.
It was,
it
We
was.
were an afterthought.
We were.
yeah.
Because they couldn't, they figured there was too many calls downtown. So
Yes.
they're gonna experiment on Lents before they actually
Exactly.
turn this loose on the city. And if all they can come up with is 2 calls a day, oh, wait a minute. You can only have an emergency requiring their assistance between 10 and 6, Monday through Friday, unless it's a holiday.
Well, see, their numbers said that that's when the majority of the mental health calls come
That's what we
in.
heard.
Yeah, because they don't live in Lents.
Don't hear the gunshots at night.
Well, no,
Don't
it's-
hear the people running the streets.
Juanita, we had them out to our meeting 3 times. And when
Yeah.
they first started, before they even got on the street, we had them to our meeting.
I know.
And we tried to explain to them, that isn't the hours we see the
Right.
problem.
Right.
Oh, but you don't know what you're
Our
talking about.
staff show us this is when the calls come in. It's like, when
Yeah.
people are awake. That's why you see more calls, because people are awake. They're sleeping at night. They're not calling the police.
I think Todd wants to.
No, I'm
Stressful.
kidding.
Oh, okay.
No, I got a problem, sorry.
You got a problem? Don't volunteer on me, guy.
They can come live in my neighborhood from 7 o'clock at night until about 4:30 or 5 in the morning.
Let's see.
And they can actually see somebody every 10 minutes.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I stopped a girl down off of the MPU. I oversee a lady in our neighborhood, she's about 80. And this girl was sleeping on the sidewalk, and I noticed she was bringing customers to, like, right there, broad daylight. She had a doghouse, a little domed doghouse, that she put her head in, and then she would put her body out, and
Oh, the gal in the MUP.
yeah, and anyway, I went up to her and I said, can I help you? Like, can I like make life different for you? Can I help you in any way possible? You know, my name's Juanita. I introduced myself and she told me her name was Spider. And I see that girl. I hear people say her name, so she's in the community all the time. And she goes, no, I like living like this.
Oh,
And
I think a lot of them do.
yes,
and
that's
they
why
don't
there's no
know-
rules.
And they know there's only so much you can do. She was right on the Clackamas County and Multnomah County border.
Yep.
And the cops are not gonna come out unless you call them. Clackamas County won't put up with it, but,
No.
Portland wouldn't come out. So I just kept going by every day, but I never could get street response.
Gee, I wonder why.
Sure.
She wasn't exhibiting any signs that she needed. They won't come out just because she's sleeping in a doggy. She has to be exhibiting mental illness
I would
of
say
some
mental illness.
I
form,
would think so.
or a physical illness where she
I would think
can't walk.
prostitution and
She's
heroin.
throwing up.
Yeah, you know, you think that would be like an
No, it's
unacceptable,
not.
but
It's,
not.
drugs don't count anymore. They're
drugs
legal.
are legal.
I think the other issue that really bothers me more than anything is that the city does not recognize that our children, and I say this almost every time, have to walk through this.
Right,
And they are
right.
looking at this as an acceptable way of
Yeah.
life, and it's wrong.
Yeah, it's right.
It is absolutely unacceptable for us to allow that to continue in our neighborhoods.
Juanita, I have to share this.
I'm floored at that.
I'm with you.
Our neighbor,
Something you can do
our
to
neighbor
make it
Jason,
uncomfortable for 'em.
our neighbor Jason put on the page, Mark Jolin, you know what he looks like, right?
No, actually, it was,
No, it was
It was-
Lucas.
Oh,
Lucas
Lucas
Hilliard.
Hilliard.
It was Lucas.
And all he
Hilliard.
said was, do your children have to walk through this? We got a call from Robert King from the city because of that post.
what it was
Well,
a
there was a
picture of
little more to
Hilliard's
that
town.
post, Shar. He also put Lucas's phone number up there.
I
And
don't
Lucas
remember,
got
I don't
nailed.
remember Lucas's phone number.
Yes, Lucas got nailed with nasty phone calls, and it's not Lucas's fault.
Well, a lot of these people don't have children. I have children, I have grandchildren, and I have great-grandchildren that live in this neighborhood. And I'm not gonna stop saying this every time. It's unacceptable. And the only way that we are gonna make a change is to continue to report this, continue to tell our neighbors, and get the word out. It's the only way. It's
Yes.
unfortunate.
There's nothing else that we have figured out that you can legally do.
I mean, I'm ready to walk down.
Yes, Sharon.
with it.
I'm a newbie here and I've just been listening and obviously I'm hearing tremendous anger and frustration.
A lot of it.
And I want to be from the can-do. I can complain like the best of them. And that's why I came, because I'm so tired of being
Yeah.
so angry.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, you guys have been at this a long time, you have way more experience than I am. How can we pool, not just Lents, but like, I'd like to see a mass of neighborhoods going down or having a Zoom with City Hall and saying, we are pissed off and you are not serving us.
How many times have I told her that?
Yeah.
I
only
think
way.
this reporting is bullshit.
Exactly.
They are overwhelmed,
Yep.
the staff isn't there, they don't know what to do at this point. I'm
Right.
convinced of it, okay? It's just, you're treading water,
Yeah.
okay? And it's the squeaky wheel again.
That's
And
right.
I feel there's power in numbers. Forget this isolated pockets, okay? We need a much bigger impact.
So what we need to do, because city council isn't doing in-person anything,
Right.
we need to make an appointment with the city
Yes.
council calendar, get
Yes.
on their Zoom agenda, and then reach out to everybody who can get on that Zoom meeting. I can do that. As long as they're running the Zoom meeting, I can do that.
Okay,
Lot-
because this
I'm
this
sure
just
that
won't
Scott,
stand.
Foster Powell, you know.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that makes, it's more bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
Because they're not doing city council meetings live anymore.
Yeah,
It's all Zoom.
that I understand,
It's all
but
Zoom.
it's,
And there can be pockets, there can be us here and then, no, Scott, there's, you know.
Yeah.
We don't have to be all together at one place.
Well, in a Zoom, you're at your house, you're sitting in your home in your
Well,
pajamas,
I've
but,
done Zoom. I mean, but in order for them to see us.
Right.
They have to be different places, and it has to be all underneath one Zoom, you know what I mean?
Right.
We can't all gather in one place.
Well, we could.
on Zoom you can.
We could
Well, you
Zoom it right here.
take people, there'd be enough space
Yeah,
someplace for.
yeah, we could Zoom it right here, we could log in here.
Yeah.
You guys, is there any way that we can do a mass somehow to get a hold of all the people that have been impacted by homelessness? Is there any way we can do a mass?
You know, it's funny because that one post I told you about had 77,000 views. 77,000 views.
It's amazing.
But if you try to get that many people in one, I don't know how you would do it. I don't know how to reach those people and say you need to get involved.
YouTube is a good idea too.
I'll go knock door to door, because I've got a house that I've got for sale on 55th and Powell, the north side of Powell, and the homeless are on the south side of Powell, and they are pissed.
Oh, I bet.
And they're blocks away from it. They're not even on the same side of the street, and they're pissed. So I'm guessing there's a lot of people in this city that
Oh,
have
there
just
are.
had it.
Pathetic, yeah.
And we've got to somehow get together as Powell, because numbers in Powell are huge. And we need to come down on the city and say, no more. No more.
Well, we can arrange the Zoom thing. That's not going to be hard. It's just getting a hold of their
I'll knock on doors.
whatever it is.
I'm sorry if I come across as just being gripey, because I don't.
No.
No, I'm with you. I've said that so many times to Shar that I'm ready to just walk down the street with a group of people and just,
I am too.
I'm tired of it.
Well, it's like you want to
How did Lower
storm City
Hood
Hall
solve their
and
problem
say,
for that one
you're not doing
section
your
of
job,
Lower
right?
Hood?
I
Money.
mean,
Letting us down.
you're not doing
Money.
your job.
They paid to have all that
Well,
stuff
no,
removed?
they have money.
Yeah.
The people that live in that neighborhood have money.
But see, they've done that about 3 times.
I know.
Mhm.
And they moved back into the park anyway. They're still not gone. I think they're in the
No,
park now.
No, they're not, they're right the water.
They're not in the park anymore. They're on Mountain Park. Okay.
Are you down at Laurelhurst?
They're in the park
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
They're in
yeah.
the park, they're by the water and all
Yep,
that.
yeah.
The thing is, the city does not know
Is that
what to
right?
do with those people.
I don't know if they don't know what to do, they won't do it.
They don't know what to do with them because
Yeah.
you can't lock them up against their will because they have rights.
My grandpa put the first.
Unless they
Oh.
say, I want help, you
Back
can't,
in
you can't do anything to them because they have
Homelessness,
rights.
But
So
this is a
the
big
problem is,
business.
the city
Homelessness is
doesn't know
a
what to
big
do.
business, it's profitable, it's money-making.
Yes.
We are not going to find
Okay.
a solution
Yes,
because
yes.
if they actually figured out how to fix this, and it can be done, they can legislate with sense, they can say, because they were doing it, you go into a shelter or you're going to jail. If they have a shelter for them to go to, the police have the ability, well, used to before we got a new Multnomah County District Attorney, that was the carrot. That was how they got rid of them. That's why Neighborhood Response was backing that god-awful shelter that they put over there on Foster, next to the daycare center and across from the high school, because that gave them a carrot. That gave them 50 beds or whatever, so when they got called, they could force them in. But this is big business now. There is money to be made pandering to the homeless people. And these people, Mark Jolin and his crew, they have no desire to actually fix it because how
They're
are they
making
gonna make
money.
their millions of dollars?
Yeah.
Where's their money coming from?
The contractors are getting lots
If
of
we
money.
don't have
The
all these
nonprofits.
people living in tents.
We're not one of those, Juanita, I
I
have to
know
say.
that.
This is the greatest fundraiser that the city has ever run. They used to have a lot of trouble getting bond measures passed, and when tents popped up everywhere throughout the city, we couldn't sign on, we couldn't vote fast enough to give them, it's over $1 billion that we give them to cure
And
homelessness.
our neighbors are voting yes to give them more money.
Yep.
Because there are people that don't see the damage that it's doing to the people in the tent, as well as us homeowners having to look at it and pick up after them. Had a discussion with the homed guy from Washington that was on the, up in the jungle buying stolen bicycles yesterday. Well, how do you know it's stolen? Because you came out of the jungle with it, honey.
You
Well,
know,
I come out here to buy my
I
bikes
was
because
getting
they're
a
cheap.
phone with the
Well,
county.
of course they're cheap. They're stolen. What do you know, yeah, he's gonna sell you whatever this special bicycle is
Can I see
for
the ID
$50?
number? Is it filed off?
because it's stolen. And he's got 20 and more of them behind his tent.
Yeah.
Well, you can't prove that. Well, yeah, probably I
So,
can.
yeah, all right.
And you're trespassing. If you're gonna buy stolen material and you're gonna go to the jungle for your drugs, at least use the frickin' path like everybody else. Don't cut a hole in the fence and trespass on private property.
You know what was powerful, I think what was super powerful the other day with city council, is when the little child spoke.
Oh, I missed that
yeah.
one.
And when she spoke up and said, I don't feel safe, can you please help me? That was powerful.
Yeah.
And I think if we let them know what our children have to walk through,
So if I get that
That's
thing,
powerful.
if I get that thing with city council, everybody bring their kids.
I think you're right, that's a great idea, Juanita.
I
Well, let the
I
kids
would
talk.
bring my kids.
Okay.
And my kids, a lot of my grandsons have moved away because it was so bad.
Oh, I understand. But I'm saying, maybe that's a.
That's a great
There's a
idea.
bus stop, elementary school bus stop right by the park.
Oh, I know,
All these
yes,
people
I
are
do,
there.
yes, yes.
And so I wrote, you know, to the city and just said, that's a real concern. These poor kids have to stand
Mm-hmm.
there
Well,
by
they're-
themselves.
They're approached all the time.
Yep.
You need to contact the school. The city's got nothing to do with school bus stops. The schools decide where the buses are gonna stop to pick the kids up.
Yes.
Because Amanda had that issue on that lot across the street from her on
Oh, yeah,
111th
the
and
empty
Merrill.
lot, yeah.
And they had a school bus stop there, and they also were bringing the summer lunches there.
Mm-hmm.
And she called the school and said, do you have any idea how many needles
Of
are
the
out here?
area.
Do you know what this corner looks like? Well, no, maybe you better come look. They came out and checked it, and they moved it. They moved the whole bus stop. They don't
But why
stop
move
there
the bus
anymore.
stop? Why not move the people?
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. Yeah, move the people.
I mean, it's kind of like,
That's a lovely solution.
I
It's
know. Mm-hmm.
easier to move the bus stop.
no.
But we have to keep complaining, and everybody gets tired of the whole report. And we had 13 or 14 cars tagged one nice day because I had 5 neighbors who we were making reports 5 days a week. So they were getting 25 calls a week about these cars parked on the street. And report. PBOT came out with a pad of nice bright green signs and their cameras, and they tagged every one of them. And they actually, most of them moved. They didn't have to tag, they didn't have to tow them, but they did tow several out of there.
Is this the number you call the report?
4,000, 323-4,000.
Hey, what got
The
me,
email doesn't work?
we had our fifth wheel out in front of our house
Yeah,
to go, get ready to go camping,
yeah.
and P-Bot came and tagged it.
Your fifth wheel?
We're on a dead end street.
I know you are. Oh my, so who called? Which neighbor called on you?
I don't know.
They
I
probably
mean,
just drive them by.
you know, what the?
They were out tagging it. They were out following the report, and they tagged anything that they
Yeah, that's what I'm
saw.
saying, someone reported her.
You did, I hope, call them?
Yeah,
Okay.
I said, we only were going to go camping, you know, we're getting ready for it, we're not on a through street. You know, well, we're only doing our job, you know, and
Yeah.
if you can't have your trailer out on the.
Oh, that is,
That's hysterical.
that is. Go ahead, David.
So we have this little form. It is.
It's not us.
This is a public service announcement. We are not the Lnla, which is the Lents Neighborhood Association, which is the official city-recognized neighborhood association for Lents.
Nor do we have any attempt or plans of becoming
No,
the
We will
LNA.
never merge with them, or we don't want to be affiliated with the city and lose what.
Did they have a forum at the meeting or something?
The one we had on the 9th.
So the problem they've run into is that they've had 2 hand-picked boards that were elected by the other board people who are running for the board. And the latest one posted a big manifesto on their Facebook page, and the entire board resigned. So now they've been scrambling around trying to figure out what to do. And this is a forum if anyone would like to run for an office for the Lents Neighborhood Association.
Actually, there's one for chamber.
The older I get, the three-letter word is getting easier to say.
I propose nothing. I could care less about what happens to them, but they are the mouthpiece for the city for Lents.
For the city, I'm glad you put that in there, the mouthpiece for the city,
That's
not the neighbors.
You know, that was never the intention of neighborhood associations. We have 95 of them here. And originally, it was a way for grassroots neighbors to be able to interact with the city about the things they wanted. Well, the city decided to incorporate them and make them part of the city and started giving them money, and all of a sudden they all had to behave and follow the city's, whatever the city's point of view was. So it kind of got turned around. It's not really for citizen involvement so much as it is the city conveying to neighborhoods what's going to happen to them on behalf of the city. So if you're interested, we on the other hand, we would have an election if anyone, if the membership ever decided that they're unhappy with the board, or someone else would like to serve on the board, just
Step up.
and we will hold an election. That is not, we get nothing out of this. It's not a matter of pride. It's something we do for you folks in the neighborhood. I will say that we have a membership participation agreement. We've kind of been remiss, and we should remind you every meeting, but once you've attended 2 of our meetings, signed in on 2 of our meetings, so we know you were here, if you'll sign a membership participation agreement, it allows you to vote on any decisions we make. But to be honest, we're really much more informal than that. And we have open discussions like we're having tonight. But it's out there, it's part of our bylaws. If you want to become a participating member, fill out a form and email it to us, and you'll become an official member of.
I think I have some in the bag over there.
Yep, okay.
Well, sign me up.
Okay,
Okay.
sign you up, Richard.
Yes.
Well, I know, that's why I said we've been
you.
remiss.
This is my first opportunity for fundraising this year.
Okay.
Well, somebody's got to do it. I'm pretty good. We, in the past, since the inception of our group, done Thanksgiving turkey dinners.
Oh, that's right.
And we have collected donations of food or in-kind money so that we could go buy marshmallows and canned sweet potatoes. We've got pumpkin pies, turkey dressing, beans, the whole 9 yards, cranberry sauce, everybody. And the last time we did this, we did 50 of them. Y'all want to carry around 50 frozen turkeys? You're on your own. We decided that rather than trying to carry around 50 frozen turkeys, we're going to give gift certificates this year.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They're much easier to deliver, much lighter. We're getting old. We can't have frozen turkeys around
We
anymore.
have hefted so many turkeys.
It's just a nightmare.
And to be honest, a lot of the folks that we take them to, I have my doubts whether they've ever cooked a turkey before or eaten something.
We go to the schools and ask for a list from each of the schools that serve Lents for a list of needy families. And they know them, and they give us a list. This year we're buying gift cards. So we are inviting you to participate with the donation of cash. We're giving $50 per family. We just came to the realization as we're delivering these, we're delivering turkey and dressing and mashed potatoes and pumpkin pie to people that don't speak English. So probably
They don't eat.
The American Thanksgiving dinner is kind of a foreign, these people are crazy. What are we going to do with a 15-pound turkey? So I think we've been debating Winco or Walmart and let them go buy whatever they want. So we are taking donations. Anybody wants to donate, catch one of us.
How do we give money to you?
Well, same
We've
as how.
got a website, you can do it too.
She's here
Okay,
right now.
or you can catch me. These people don't live here anymore, so I'm the local contact.
But thank you for still coming to help our neighbors.
Oh, you're welcome. I've been here
Yes,
too many
you would
years
like
just to
anybody,
walk
but-
out.
and we can give you a tax receipt that
Yes.
is a
Or a
donation
501c3.
to a real live nonprofit, so you can deduct your donation from your taxes if you're in a position to do that. And we'd be happy to do that. And again, call me.
We'll have another meeting before
Yes,
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
we've got
So-
the November meeting
Yeah.
coming up yet, but
Yeah.
let's get the word out here, let's be thinking about it. And I'll tell you that cash is a whole lot easier than 12 cans of green beans.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't read English there, but I speak pretty good.
All right. Well, you should have seen us last year when we did 50 boxes. We had
Oh.
one of the rooms in there full of boxes, people all over the place,
Yeah.
stuffing stuff in them.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was, it was entertaining. So
Thank you, Richard.
Penny brings up a good point. As a matter of full disclosure, Shar and I will continue the good fight here. We have deep roots here. We've lived here since 80.
I bought it in 86. I moved here in 85 because my
Yeah.
daughter wanted to stay in David Douglas District. And
Yeah,
so I lived in the house for a year before I bought it.
Yeah, and I showed up in 88, I guess. But we have deep roots in Lents and still really, it's hard to not care for all the people that we care for. But we own a home in Lnla now, and that's where we live, and we've just put our house here on the market. And pursuant to our bylaws, someone who is interested in the affairs of Lents or involved in a nonprofit located in Lents qualifies to be a member of the board. I never intended having that. There was no ulterior motive.
Didn't think about taking advantage of it.
I
when you
did
were-
not, it never occurred to me, because I figured I was going to stay in Lents until it took me horizontal.
That's what you could call it.
David, can I ask,
Okay.
I like
That's
that,
good.
active,
Yes.
if there's anything that we do decide to do as a group, is if anybody would give their contact
I've been
either by
residing in this area
email,
since 1940.
and that way if we do decide to do anything, we can get in contact with everyone.
And that's kind of the purpose of the sign-in sheet, because
So,
if you give your contact info, we'll have it, and
Thank you.
because not everyone does Facebook, but most of us
Right.
do email or
Did you sign in?
have a cell
Yes,
phone.
okay, great.
Email, phone number.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for
Thank you for coming,
Thanks
guys.
for being here.
Okay, how's our time?
So we can stop anytime. We don't have any massive speakers.
No, it's really just for us.
Yeah.
If nothing else, at least you get to speak your mind here. You don't have to get on the agenda. You don't have to ask your questions in advance or put them in writing so that.
Actually, this has been a good meeting.
Good.
It has been.
This has been a good meeting. 'Cause you-
Those of us that are left, are you interested in hearing what Freeway Land is going to do with their new home improvement that you
I
didn't get
am.
notified about?
I am. Did you find out from Brent?
Freeway land.
What tree land?
Freeway Land's down
Freeway
here on
Land.
100 and Foster. 100.
Yeah.
The industrial
The
area
industrial park.
south of the spring water between 92nd and 100 and the bread store,
Okay.
101st,
That's the
105th.
freeway?
Freeway
It's
Land is what it's called.
It's the name of the company.
The
Actually,
industrial area is called Freeway Land. There's 100 acres of industrial area in there between Knapp and the spring water and 92nd and 104th.
And
It's where
Foster.
where the sawmill used to be when you fished on Johnson.
Well, he came and helped us with West Rock. It's
Yeah.
over where West Rock
Yeah,
is.
Oh, is it?
It's behind West Rock.
It's all that property.
Anyway, they're about to do some home improvements that apparently they didn't notify anybody but me about.
You're the Lnla.
Apparently, except that there's nothing on there about Lnla.
Your house is, well, you look it up on Google, you're the Lnla.
I understand, but the addresses weren't to Lnla, it was me and Proud
addressed
Grill.
to
I know.
the property owner. and-
But anyway, they are doing a massive, major overhaul. Brent is willing to come to a meeting.
Oh, is he?
Yes, he couldn't come tonight because he's on his way to Reno for his brother's wedding.
Okay, how about next month?
But I've said he would probably be able to come next month, and if we just need to confirm an appointment.
Okay.
I think it's better for him to come to a meeting and talk to all of
I
us
think
than
so,
it
too.
is to submit a list of questions and you and I and David go sit in his
I know,
lobby.
that's what I got from Prosper Portland.
Yeah, I would much rather have them speak to the group. 'cause
Yeah,
it-
but
It doesn't have to
nobody
be
got
translated
notified.
by us.
Yeah.
Freeway land has been sold to Prologis. They are in 23 going to be kicking out the 100 and some people that have businesses in there, and they're building 3 warehouses. And then they're fixing all of the green space supposedly, and they're putting in new trees, doing a bunch of stuff. Anyway, I got it. I think that we as a community need to hear what Brent has to say.
So they're gonna take out that recycle place and everything? right?
No,
not West
recycle.
Rock.
No,
it's
West
Well,
Rock.
no, the other one that's inside the fence.
There isn't a recycling
Oh,
place.
there's a
It's,
concrete recycling or something like that?
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
well, and the
West Rock.
Dean's Innovations, which is landscaping materials, and they make compost and all of that good stuff.
Yeah, that's the one that we had, that was got in there when we was over at the other building.
Oh, yeah, that was, it wasn't called West Rock though, what's the other name on it? The one we had signs up here in our neighborhood, we didn't want
Yeah,
it.
recology.
Recology.
That's what I said.
Recology.
They're gonna kick that one out?
They're not there.
No.
They're not here.
Oh, they're not there
No,
now? They were?
Everybody that's in there will be gone. The leases, the last of the leases expire in 23.
Yeah, West Rock is actually separate from that ownership.
Well, I wasn't
They-
talking about Westfall, I was talking about that other one.
Yeah, recology.
Yeah, recology will be done.
So all that land that's on this cliffside,
Yeah.
Yes.
is with- on the cliffside over here.
Yeah, on Nap, Nap's down here. So if you go the back road down Nap, that's all,
That
that's,
you can see over,
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
good
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
So who's Brent?
Brent is the property manager.
The
For
new one or
freeway
the
land?
or the
The new
existing
one.
one?
He's the existing one.
Nothing really has changed. His phone number changed, which is kind of...
Did it really?
Well, his cell phone number changed.
Oh, okay.
And I never call the office number because he's never there and
So
he
all
never
those
answers.
business trailers and stuff,
The
dog
FEMA
shacks?
trailers, yeah.
Yeah,
They're gonna be gone.
Yeah,
eventually.
that everything is gonna be gone, and I have pictures of the blueprints of 3 big, huge warehouses that they're putting in.
And what are the warehouse gonna be doing?
They'll be leased out, but he doesn't know who at this point will be leasing them or what kind of businesses will be leasing them. They
So is that
can't,
gonna be like the ones that where the theater used to be across the street on Foster? Well, they put all those businesses, all those,
I have no idea,
The theater on Foster. You mean the drive-in?
yeah.
I have no idea.
Do we know who the buyer is?
That's neat what they did with
Prologis
that.
Yeah.
bought it.
And what's Prologic?
Prologis.
Prologis is a big owner of warehouse spaces. One of their big clients is Amazon.
How did I know you were gonna say that?
However, from what they've told us, Amazon's not going to be there.
Bye,
Because they
guys.
built
Thank
other-
you.
Thank you.
Be in touch.
Other
Coming to
warehouses.
Okay, bye-bye.
Prologis bought the dog track and freeway land at the same time.
Yeah.
And Amazon is going in at the dog track in Troutdale.
Oh, they are?
So they won't be moving in here because they're out there.
So no homeless,
So Grand Ron sold it to them?
Hmm?
no homeless?
I thought the dog track was owned by the,
The Indians were gonna buy it, yeah, I think Red Ron was gonna buy it, weren't they? The Indian, weren't they gonna put
They
a
wanted to
casino
do a
out there?
casino and all
Yeah,
that.
that's what I heard.
Yeah, well, no, they couldn't do that. It's not
Right.
Indian land. They can't put a casino in. But Prologis is putting in Amazon.
Yeah.
That's
But I
happening.
thought the Indians owned it.
No, they didn't. The Indians
Yeah.
were trying
They
to,
were
and
trying
it's
to
not,
purchase
they can't do it.
They were trying to purchase 100 acres?
No, it's the
The
trout.
dog pack? The dog
They
pack?
could only put a casino on Indian land.
Freeway land is
The rule.
99 acres, but a lot of it is also
Wetland?
wetland.
Yeah.
And they are going to be fixing and repairing the wetland area. They're going to be doing a lot of stuff. And I know that it doesn't affect you directly and it doesn't affect you directly, but it
It's gonna
bodes
beautify
well
the area.
for all of us
Yeah.
if we live in Lents
It'll
to
affect
know
the
what's
traffic.
happening with large tracts of land in Lents.
Is there gonna be a positive
Trying to turn
then?
it into a homeless shelter.
Well,
It'll be a positive
like
because
giant
more
trucks
people
going
will
in and out.
be renting in that area.
Not as long as
for
Brent's there,
family.
I'll tell you what. Brent's got a contract. If they try camping on his land, they are gone in a split second. Because if you own the land and it's private property, you can kick their sorry asses out without posting them.
Yeah.
You're down the road.
Yeah, he's good
None of
about
that
that.
And
fighting
Brent's very
posting
good
baloney.
about that.
Wait,
Lance is in
wait,
there
wait.
a split second,
What'd
gets
you
those
say?
people out.
They don't have to post or, give the,
Private
Even if
property
the
is
fences
different.
are all cut up.
They're really good, there's salami
Yeah.
and cheese.
So Penny, it's a good thing that this is being, a good thing is gonna be of that land?
I believe so.
Please.
I think that
Okay.
it's not financially going to impact me.
No.
However, you know where I live. And I think life is going to be a little quieter.
Well, I hope so.
And maybe less stinky for you?
We don't have, we don't have any odors coming from over
We had
there.
to stay home and watch
but
the dog. Oh, my dog's been having seizures.
There's 101 different businesses in
Take
there.
that to California.
And the one directly across from me has something to do with very large containers, trucking containers. They get picked up and dropped in various places, and then they get picked up and stacked in various stacks, and they're really loud.
Wait, I'm sorry.
That's it, they're very loud.
Do you guys hear a bunch of motorcycles running up and down back here, up in this area at night?
You need chips to go with your
From
house across the
time
street,
to
you clear their
time,
backyard,
usually.
he has kids, and that's their motor. I mean, he's got hills and everything built up in his house.
But no, I hear them running at night. Do they run at night?
Oh, they do. I hear them.
Marilyn, do you?
I hear 'em. Penny, do you hear 'em?
The sandwiches?
Once in a while.
Yeah,
I hear them at night.
I got cars
But-
going up and down the Springwater Corridor.
Yeah, well, I'm working on that. I just got boulders put in on 97. Hey, Christian finally decided it was gonna, it was a gift.
yeah.
And actually, he told his employees it was to shut me up.
I'm gonna take a
But
punch.
they did their boulders and they buried boulders and they know that they're trying to private property to get down on this front.
Okay, thank you everyone
Hey,
for
Todd,
coming. The meeting
can
I'm not
is,
even.
the meeting is adjourned.
I'm just gonna be.
Okay. You're welcome to stay and visit as long as you want. The meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, I got cars and motorcycles going up and down.
Yeah. We know.